Hi everyone. Oh my gosh, it's week 8. Can you believe this? I really cannot. Y'all are doing so well. Those of you that are submitting regularly, everything's right on target. You're doing fantastic. Those of you who are not able to submit regularly for various reasons, I'm sorry you're having a hard semester, and I just wanted to let you know I get that, and thank you for keeping in close contact with me, because then I don't worry that you're not okay. So, to all of my students, I want to thank you for a really wonderful first half of the semester, and know that we are reaching the halfway point. So, this week we are looking at literacy in early childhood, and I divide that up into 2 weeks. So you will have this week beginning with reading as a literacy a piece in early childhood, and next week we will look at literacy from a writing standpoint. They are, of course, again, nothing is separate in early childhood, but for purposes of these courses and the way things are done now, we do separate them out to look at them, and that's fine. I just wanted to make sure we're always remembering that young children are not stopping to say, I'm now doing literacy work. Everything is all connected for them. Everything. They're so lucky. So, you will have a reading reflection from chapter 3 in the text, as usual. I do want to go over these resources a little bit with you. In the literacy resources, the first assignment is a series of PDFs. I'm going to open one up so you can see. So these are, in many ways, have many things in them that are actually for older kids, for elementary age kids. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Some of them are not. Some of them are very effective and helpful in an early childhood classroom. So you'll have to look through them and decide, and this will be a really good exercise for you as a teacher to get used to looking at something and making sure you're discriminating between what is really appropriate, not just for the age, but for the group of children you're with. You could have a group of 7-year-olds and look at this and say, oh, my 7-year-olds are not ready for this. You could have a group of 4-year-olds where you could do some things. It really depends on your classroom, especially. Let's really be focused now as teachers on looking at the age of the children we have and where they were during the pandemic, because we are still seeing the effects of COVID and isolation and NTI instruction for all ages. We're still seeing the effects of that. JCPS recently got their test scores up. That's really great news for those people out there that really care about test scores. I'm sure you've picked up that I'm not one of those people. I think it's fine, but I'm not focused on it. And it's great to be able to say that. I'm not exactly sure what it means. I worry that it means they focused on getting the test scores up really intensely since they've been back from NTI instruction. And hopefully now that they've gotten them up, they can relax and do some, really good stuff. So let's just all keep that in mind. It's not a criticism of anyone. I hope you know that, but it is something we all need to really keep in mind. Okay, so you've seen that document, and you're basically just going to look at those, and I created a document with a chart. If you want to fill the chart in, that's fine. I basically want you to go through and find activities in those resources that would be age appropriate, that you feel are ones that you might even want to do or that you just think are really good. Then in this section, I am devoting a whole section to what I call giving up the letter of the week. I don't know if this is a practice where you work. Still, it really has been over the last, I would say, 10 years. There's been a real push to understand that the research is in on this, and it's not effective. It's not an effective way to teach the alphabet. Preschool teachers in particular have gotten very attached to this idea. However, and I know it was done in the preschool where I taught 30 years ago. I never did it, but it was done. And I just want you to know the science on it has been there for a long time, which is why I didn't do it. But we're just, pushing and pushing for this. There is actually a book called No More Letter of the Week, which is really, really good. And this book that I'm having you listen to the authors of is really, really good. So if you decide you want to learn more about this, you certainly can. You may be hearing about this in your classes on teaching reading. I really hope so. Anyway, so here's a resources page that has the list of viewings and readings on this topic. This is a 45-minute watch, and this has a lot of information about sensory motor activity in young children and why we should not be teaching letter of the week, but teaching another way instead. And here's a really quick 10-minute boom, 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 boom. She's really good. This particular video presenter has a whole series that you could go through if you wanted to. She's very good. And her work is solid. It's very scientifically brain research based, so you don't have to worry about that. These are simple little articles to kind of back up. I would draw your attention to I Gave Up Letter of the Week and You Can Too, and to Fairy Dust Teaching, because both of those have examples and maybe even lesson plans that you would want to use for your own literacy lesson plan when you submit it next week. So hopefully I've given you some, things to think about and use there. And then you have your Padlet, which is going to ask you some fun questions about reading. So hopefully you will have a really good week, because you'll know it's headed towards spring break time. And just let me know if you need anything. I did in the literacy resources, sorry about this. Actually, it's in the other one. My bad. Sorry again. I did make a list here of focused things, 5 things to pay attention to. This is really important. So pay attention to this and notice how late phonics comes. And what is the difference between phonemic awareness and phonics? I'm hoping after you do this week's study, you'll know that. Okay, again, always here, reach out, let me know what your questions are. You're doing great though. You can have confidence in your work, and have a good week.